Welcome to another episode of Love and Reality Podcast. I am your host, Ricky Valero. On today's episode, I am going to be breaking down the season finale of The Circle Season 6. What a wild and crazy finish to this crazy and wild season. Folks, we have seen all of the competitors come through the circle, and we are down to our final six, right? Final six. You know what I'm saying? One, two, three, four, five. Yeah, six. We have the big decision that loomed over the head of Olivia. Who will Olivia eliminate from the circle? And what will the finale look like? And how will the ratings break down? I'm so excited to talk about that. Before we jump in, if you want more circle coverage, I have an interview up with Cassie Saylor from this season. I've got an upcoming interview coming with Brandon, aka Olivia from the circle as well, and I'm hoping to grab a few more. So I would greatly appreciate if you check those episodes out. If you could do me a favor, if you're watching here on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, got that like button, and maybe drop a comment. I'd greatly appreciate it. Also, if you're listening on podcast platforms, thank you for subscribing. Thank you for listening. As always, I'm greatly appreciative of all the support here of the Love and Reality Podcast. I hope to continue on with this. We have a lot of coverage happening over the next few weeks. This coming Friday? No, Thursday, the GOAT episodes 1 through 3 will be available. I will be covering that weekly. You'll be able to hear my podcast of that on Mondays. If you want to get a little bit sooner coverage of that, I'll be dropping episode recaps of the morning of release. Episode 1 already dropped on YouTube. If you haven't checked that out yet, do so. But all 3 episodes drop on Thursday. Like I said, week coverage. I also have interviews with the cast of the GOAT season 1 coming around the corner. Also, I'm looking forward to sharing those with you. Those are so much fun. A lot of great interviews, a lot of great content. But before we jump in, folks, I want to talk about something. I mentioned this a little bit last week on the podcast, and then I went on a little bit of a rant. You can see the rant here on my YouTube channel. You can see the rant on TikTok, Instagram, so forth and so forth. But the thing about it is we see out of the last batch of episodes, we saw Jordan get so much hate for his gameplay, whether it was Jordan lying about this or manipulating this or ranting about this or cheating the system, trying to convince QT to do something. The thing about this is what I have an issue with this is part of reality TV. This is competition reality television at its finest. Like if you were there at the early stages of Big Brother, early stages of Survivor, these type of competitions that you're battling it out for thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars, this is how you play the game. You can hate Jordan. That's perfectly fine. And you have every right to do because this guy is this year's villain. However, the game player, you cannot criticize him for doing what he's been doing throughout this entire season because he has his back against the wall. He came into the game late. He had an uphill battle. He had that first conversation with Miles that really didn't go all that well. And then you have all of these other factors. Of course, yeah, he tried to take out QT. Why did he try to take out Miles? Why did he try to take out Miles? Because Miles is a threat. Miles is a top player in this game. Everybody knows it. And everybody was tied to Miles. Kyle, tied to Miles. Olivia, tied to Miles. QT, tied to Miles. You have 6 people left. 6 people left in this game. Okay, 6 people. Yet Kyle, Lauren, Miles, Olivia, QT, and Jordan. Those are your 6 people left in this game. 4 of those 6 people are tied to one person. Him trying to get rid of Miles was strategic. It was gameplay and everything like that. He was trying to win this, but also in the back of his head, he knew he couldn't probably win this, but he wanted to make sure that he was taking somebody out on the way out with him. So that being said, who does Olivia eliminate from the circle? Who do they block from the circle? And folks, this had the chance to be massive. And I mentioned this at the end of the last week's episode. If Olivia made the right decision here, Olivia would shoot up the rankings of one of the top dogs of the circle history. Okay. Because if you eliminate Jordan, Olivia loses this game. Period. Right. So everyone is freaking out. And then the screen popped up and said Miles had been blocked from the circle, and my jaw dropped because no matter what, I didn't I wasn't 100% convinced that Olivia was going to pull the trigger, and Olivia pulled the fucking trigger, and I was so happy. I was jumping for joy. Jordan was jumping from joy. Miles said a betrayal could have happened, and he thought he had a chance to win. We all thought he had a chance to win. But again, this is about strategic gameplay. Getting rid of Miles was the only decision that was right. Not QT, not Kyle, but Miles. Miles wins this game if he's not eliminated here. But Miles visits QT, duh. He calls her gorgeous and even better in person. She tells him that she's a super fan of the circle. He was smitten by her and told her he wanted to kiss her, which was kind of awkward. But um, she tells him that she did Olivia, Kyle, and Miles in that order. She thought he would get her out, but he said she was always his number one. He thinks it's Kyle. He tells Liv and Jordan. He tells her Liv and Jordan at the bottom. He went to take on her date. She said okay. This was low key like awkward. This was an awkward scene. Like this was a very much an awkward scene, and I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was Miles trying to play the game or Miles trying to like maybe trying to get a little bit of a kiss or something. I don't know. This was just a little bit awkward to me. The entire scene was weird, and I didn't like it that much. But whatever. Jordan is super duper 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 happy. Olivia is sad, aka Brandon is sad. But the thing about it is, Miles used Olivia. Miles was going to probably be in the final three, and he needed to make this move. Brandon, this was the move of the season. This is what catapults you to the next level of this competition. This is what puts you in a place to potentially win the circle. This move did. Period. Again, be mad that your boy Miles is gone, but don't you dare be mad at Olivia / Brandon for making the move that he did, because it's going to potentially set yourself up in that finale. Period. Miles reveals that he was who he said he was. Kyle said this move makes no sense. Yes, it does. Kyle, you're an idiot. Like, this is the thing. That comment right there moves Kyle down the rankings. Period. He said, I made a good call blocking me because I was a threat. He said he wishes he flirted with QT more. He shouted out his crew and hoped they win. Again, this is about strategy. This is about gameplay. Period. End of story. Olivia said he felt better after hearing Miles. He eliminated Miles because he thought he could boost QT into the finals. Facts. Facts. One less person voting for QT. One less person voting for Miles and Kyle above you. Olivia, Lauren, Kyle, QT, and Jordan are a final five. One of them will walk away with $100,000. The finals have a treat at the door. It's a cake, balloon that says congratulations, mimosas, cake, and cookies. QT pours one out for Miles. Everyone thanks the secret influencer. Jordan enters the chat and says thank you, which was hilarious. Olivia sends a message of gratitude. Olivia doesn't send a message about the super secret influencer, which triggers Kyle to figure out it was Olivia, which is weird. Very weird. And I'll tell you, and I'll explain it to you in a minute or two. All right, the final rankings are upon us. The final ratings will determine who wins the circle. This is my final six. Final five. Before we jump into what the actual ratings were, I want to break down my final five. I did this every week, what my influencer ranking was, and I based it on gameplay. Gameplay alone. Not feelings, no feelings or nothing like that. Just facts over gameplay, what I felt like playing the game. Now, here we go. Here's my final five. I would love to hear your final five. Drop them in the comments for me, please. My final five of the circle. Lauren's number five. Nothing against Lauren. Just hasn't had the strongest, strategic gameplay on the show. I think she's just kind of happy to be here type of scenario. QT, 4. Played a great game, but ultimately fell short in the long run because she overplayed her hand. QT says that she studied this game left and right. QT should have known that she needed to make a power move a lot earlier than she did. Jordan fed her the perfect game plan, and she didn't do it. Period. Jordan played a damn good game. He's number 4. I know this is controversial. I put him number 1 last week. Everybody was freaking out about it. Played a damn good game. Used his game to get to the point where he was including making folks realize that Miles needed to go. Period. Cut and dry. Jordan played a great game. Not great enough to be in my top 3 this week. only, or am I not top 2 this week? Only because I didn't believe that he has a chance to win the game, but his gameplay slots him in number 3 easily. Could have been number 2, obviously. However, Kyle's in the number 2. Now, I will say this. He figured out Olivia was a secret influencer, which was smart because he was paying attention to the game. I will say him saying it not making any sense really kind of made me mad because I felt like maybe I should put him at 3 because he said that. But I do think that he played the game very well. He weaved in and out of connections and stuff like that. But his faith in Olivia really got him to where he was, because I feel like Kyle could have been eliminated several times, and I think he should have been eliminated. But I like Kyle a lot. Olivia, the super secret influencer, was a banger. Eliminating Miles was a great move and just played a solid game all the way through. But nothing will top the knocking out Miles. Everyone locks in their final rankings. Olivia locked in QT at first. QT locked in Kyle in first. Lauren locked in Jordan at first. Kyle locked in Olivia at first. That surprised me. I want to feel like that really surprised me, even after figuring out that Olivia was more than likely the secret influencer. Kyle still put Olivia first. Now, I look at this one or two ways, and I'd love to ask him this question. I look at this one or two ways. One, he recognizes the game and was like, game's got to recognize game. Or 2, it was the alliance factor. But this surprised me because I really didn't think that he would end up locking in Olivia at 1. And then, of course, Jordan locked in Lauren. Very smart here. Just try to bolster your status within the group. But we get a montage of a mixed bag of goods. Before the winner is revealed, there's one last circle chat, and it will take place in person. I love this part of it because you get to see who's Catfish, who's not Catfish, et cetera, et cetera. Kyle shows up first, followed by QT. Of course, they were excited. He said that, he said he was nervous about Olivia. He reveals that he's married, pro basketball player. She's like, I was a cheerleader. He brought up saying, Liv ain't Mr. Nice. He said Liv wasn't nice. Liv. It was just a funny dynamic, just based on the chat that they had in the hot tub. Et cetera, et cetera. That entire scene was hilarious. This scene was hilarious as well. Lauren is on her way. Let's see. Lauren is on her way, and I'm so glad that they continue to show everybody and saved Olivia for last. QT thinks Lauren is a catfish. Of course, she's real. Lauren says QT is beautiful. Lauren said, "Why do you both so hot?" Just funny moment. Back and forth banter between the two. Kyle said he was upset and calls out Lauren because he flirted with him and Paul. Very, very funny. Jordan is on its way. Jordan bombed this thing. Boys and girls, the truth game player, period. They are flattered by Jordan. He says, talk. Ugh. They are floored by Jordan. Jordan said he respects QT so much. He had folks, and everyone agreed. They asked why Miles. He realized that everyone was aligned to Miles and he had to get rid of him. Period. Period, folks. I don't know what to tell you. I don't have to tell you other than I told you so. Game player. QT even recognizes the game. QT should have knocked out Miles. Period. Period, folks. All right. Moving right along. Everyone is saying Olivia is the best person, and Kyle's face was on the floor when Brandon walks through that door. Kyle's jaw was on your floor. Olivia walks in. I was your Teddy. It was just nobody was expecting that. He says everything, and he and Kyle talked about, including their father passing, was real. It was such a sweet moment because I feel like Kyle understood that even if he was even Olivia being a catfish, he needed to know that moment they shared together was authentic. You know what I mean? Like, he needed to see that moment be authentic because he didn't want that to be, you know what I mean? Like, that's not part of gameplay. You know what I mean? Like, sure, you can make up a father, relationship, stuff like that. But to me, I feel like Kyle needed to know that was real. And he said it was real. And then Kyle talked about how Olivia and Kyle's relationship kind of changed once they had that conversation, and that kind of where it led to where it was. You know what I mean? That's just was a beautiful bond, a beautiful moment. QT said he went into the influencer chat thinking Olivia was gone, but Kyle saved her. They had that conversation again. Kyle say Olivia was gone. Like, QT was like gunning for Olivia, but Kyle's like, you know what? we BFFs now. We're doing this together. Let's go. Let's eliminate somebody else that's not Olivia, which is crazy to think about. All right, alert, alert, alert! The black players are on their way. We got Cassie, Steffi. She said that. Told the camera, she said this was the first time in her life she had to convince everybody that she was in fact real. Very funny moment there as well. Let's see here. Autumn has returned, who, the quickest stint in the history of the show, I think. Everyone is shocked. Olivia, aka Brandon. Caress arrives. And then, of course, Miles has returned. He said he's so glad that Kyle is real. Miles just did not look happy. And I understand why. You know what I mean? I understand why that Miles wasn't happy, but it really you could really kind of tell that he thought for sure that he'd be in this final five. And, Trey's Fuego, you know what I mean? All the way to the end. Nope. But the final ratings are in, folks. Who won the circle? Before we jump in, folks, thank you guys so much for listening to another episode of Love and Reality Podcast. Thank you guys so much for the support throughout the entire season of the circle. Like I said, I'm going to have interviews with Olivia, aka Brandon, coming soon. I got a conversation with Jordan coming around in the corner as well. Going to try to get some of the other cast members. If you have any questions for any of those individuals, drop me a follow on Instagram and TikTok at Ricky Valera _. Get those questions into me for sure, or follow the Love and Reality Podcast on Instagram. All right, 5th place, Lauren. A little surprised, right? Everybody's not surprised at all. Doesn't really shock me. Was not surprised at all. 4th place, Jordan, which was, again, brilliant fucking gameplay. I love Jordan. Loved it a lot. Coming in at number 3, QT. This surprised me, I think. But I think that Jordan and Lauren rated QT very low. And because of that, that's why she got 3rd place. But it's down to Kyle or Olivia. I was thoroughly convinced Kyle was winning this show. 100%. I wrote it down. I was ready to be like, yep, Kyle won the circle. And I was fucking wrong. Olivia won season 6 of the circle. Brandon, aka Olivia, congratulations on the great strategic move. You knocked out at Miles, which ended up letting you win the circle season 6. Congratulations on a great gameplay, because you know what? Because of that gameplay, I think you deserved that spot at the top. Miles is just not happy at all. Not happy at all. You can just tell. Not happy. Brandon gets a little bit emotional, said he's going to pay off his mom's house so that she doesn't have to work as much. Very, 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 very sweet. Miles does throw in a little congratulations to my ride or die, which I was busting out laughing because that was actually really, really funny. But yeah, folks, highs and lows, definitely interesting. I like this season. It was weird because there's so many different things. This is how season 7, which, by the way, already filmed. So we can't change season 7. It's already happened. But for me, this is what we need to do. Season 8, if you're not going to have an all-star season, which I think they need to have all-star season, redemption season, I think would be really cool. But if you're not going to have that, if you're going to introduce things, I feel like you need to keep them. I would love to see season 8 be a ride or die season. Even if you're popular, you're attached to this human being. You have to be strategic. You have to gameplay. A lot of different people. Maybe you have 16 people in the circle. Maybe even 20, maybe even go 20 deep, right? You know what I mean? Maybe even go 20 deep on this, and you go, 10 people, 2 people are attached to each other. That's your ride or die. If your ride or die gone, you're gone type of scenario. I would love to see something like that. I think it would be cool. You need to add some fresh stuff to the seasons because otherwise you're just going to get stale and redundant. But this was a solid season. Definitely like the back half of the season. Definitely really like Jordan. I think what he brought to the gameplay and brought to the conversation really enhanced so many different aspects of this game. Really, really like this season. Congratulations again to Olivia, aka Brandon, for winning the Circle Season 6. Thank you guys so much for listening to another episode of the Love and Reality Podcast. I'll talk to you guys soon.